Hey there, it's Vance, and today I'm going to be reviewing Alice in Wonderland by Disney, the new release. Um, the too long didn't read version is this is an entertaining tale of psychological baggage and repression in Victorian England. Yes, the movie's very pretty, on par with Avatar. Effects are amazing. It looks very awesome, but it's a lot more nuanced than just that. The same could be said about this book right here. A lot of people think it's a fairy tale book for little kids when yes, it is that on the very surface. It goes into a lot more uh, deeper meanings, like gets into the meaning of madness and math and manners, and it just takes everything in the adult world and turns it upside down from the view of a child. And it's a very interesting take on just that of how the a child views adults. And so it's a lot more than just a fairy tale. Um, Again, we have basically the story is very familiar to Tim Burton fans, being that it's an outsider, Alice, having to deal with growing up, whereas now we have Alice growing age 19, dealing with adult issues like getting married to someone she barely knows or even cares about, class restrictions, sexism, and instead of dealing with that in an adult manner, she retreats into her inner self, into her mind, and that is where we have Wonderland, whereas they call it in the movie Underland. Um, Here, once she returns to Wonderland, it's not the same place it was when she was little. She figures she remembers it as a dream, but it's changed and evolved since she also changed and evolved from a little girl to a young woman. Now we have the Red Queen, or the Queen of Hearts, the same person. She has totally taken over Underland, and it's the job of Alice to find the Vorpal blade, which is the only weapon that can destroy and kill the Jabberwocky, which is the Red Queen's ultimate trump card of a human living weapon. It's a big giant dragon. It just destroys everything. So that's the main plot of the movie, is her trying to get a hold of the weapon and use it against the Jabberwocky. And I find it very interesting because now we're dealing with with historical politics. We have the Red Queen and her playing cards against the White Queen's white chess pieces and underground resistance. I find it analogous to Elizabeth I and Mary Queen of Scots in Renaissance England. Again, also with a Guy Fawkes type secret plot to decapitate the regime. Let's see what else. The cast, Mia, I'm gonna get this wrong, Mia Wasikowska. She plays Alice, and I loved her. She is very calm and confused, but of course, who wouldn't be if you're in Wonderland? I mean, everyone is insane, is literally insane. She's the only sane person in this insane asylum, and she has to deal with disappearing cats and talking animals and all sorts of impossible things. And the only way to get through it is to stay calm, but she's utterly confused, and adding to it is she doesn't remember being here the first time. She was here when she was a child, and now she's grown up, and now she has to relive her adventures, more or less. Johnny Depp as Mad Hatter. I liked him, but he was very familiar. Johnny Depp doesn't stray so much in his acting nowadays. Hatter was basically Jack Sparrow drunk on absinthe instead of rum, and he's a fine, not that deep of a character. He's just fiercely loyal to Alice and the White Queen, and he's a martyr for the cause, but he's silly and the kids will love him. He's got orange hair and he's, you know, high-pitched voice due to mercury poisoning. Helena Bonham Carter plays the Red Queen, and I liked her. Has imagined a spoiled brat given the power to condemn people to death, and here we go with the Red Queen. Anybody she doesn't like has them executed, and therefore she's surrounded with nothing but sycophants who are deathly afraid of her. And the populace of Wonderland has to revolt and stop her. Anne Hathaway, she was sweet as a very hippie, peacenik type, very flowy, very Faye-like, I think. She was nice. It was very interesting to see Anne Hathaway in a Tim Burton movie, and again, she has the blonde hair and the dark eyebrows, and it always makes me feel very comfortable knowing this is Tim Burton's fetish, that this is what gets him off, and it makes me feel uncomfortable to know that about him. Last thing, Crispin Glover, finally in a Tim Burton movie. I love this guy. I love this guy and everything from Back to the Future to Willard to all sorts of other stuff. And he played the Knave of Hearts, and he's very regal. Reminds me of like the Huntsman and Snow White. He's like this very, like a stock fairy tale character, but then again, pretty much everyone in Alice in Wonderland for the Looking Glass is a stock fairy tale character, like Humpty Dumpty. And I mean, but it's a very interesting take on him. He's driven and very fancy and a little bit of a fop. As I was watching, it really reminded me of American McGee's Alice. For those who don't know, that was a computer game in the late 90s, and it was a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. And the plot of the game is basically a grown-up Alice goes back to Wonderland due to psychological trauma, and she has to put the wrong things right, just like here. And I wouldn't say that the movie totally ripped off the video game, but at least the very concept of the video game they used for the movie. But they certainly made it their own thing. Do you want to see a movie with trippy visuals and awesome visual effects with the underlying background of historical politics and feminism? Here we go. You're not going to get anything better than this. It certainly makes it its own unique version of Alice. Very different from the cartoon in the 50s by Disney, where it made it Disneyfied. They took everything dark and twisted about this and made it the Disney cartoon, when this is already dark and twisted as is, and so have been pretty much every other version of Alice, from the live action miniseries in the mid 80s. That messed me up. That freaked me out. There's a scene where Alice sees the Duchess and she's holding a baby, and the baby turns into a pig. That freaked me out. It gave me nightmares. That was awesome. And will this give little kids nightmares? Maybe, but you know what? It's Alice in Wonderland. It's supposed to kind of give kids nightmares. Definitely, if you get a chance, see it in IMAX or IMAX 3D or 3D, whatever. You got to see it. All right. So see you guys later.